I'm ready.
What is it about Luke that you like so much throughout this process? You guys obviously learn on the ground as a young man.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long process with him, obviously being a early commit and everything, but the first thing that sticks out to me is his toughness. He's a guy that his dad was a linebacker in college. He kind of grew up with that mentality, and he stuck it out in his time at BC. I mean, he had a really good quarterback ahead of him, so he played some time at receiver, some time at safety, and then when it was his time to go, he maximized that opportunity. But he's got phenomenal arm talent, escapability, the ability to extend plays and make plays both inside the pocket and outside the pocket. So I'm really excited to get him here and start to get my hands on him.
What was it about that camp experience with him way back when that convinced you guys that he was a dude for you before you really had much high school film?
Yeah, I mean, from the physical perspective, the arm talent was so evident at such a young age. The other piece of it too was just the intensity and the purpose that he would go through the camp and go through the reps. He was coachable, all traits that you want to see in young players, and I think it's something that showed up in his game too, as we've seen his growth already show up in his high school game. So.
One of the first things that stood out to me about you mentioned Luke's toughness, going back to his state championship game last year in Atlanta.
Yep.
Things were not going well for them on offense the first half.
Right.
He was under consistent pressure.
Yep.
What stood out to you about him when things were not going well?
He just stays the course. He keeps chipping away. Even this year, I mean, they had some young guys surrounding him at the skill positions, couple older guys that contributed, but I mean, just continuing to stay positive with those guys and be a leader. I mean, I think one of the great traits of really any player, but especially a quarterback, is can you make the guys around you better? And I think that Luke has done that throughout his career. I mean, he's the epitome of a team guy. You go back and look at his freshman, sophomore years, mixing in, playing safety, playing slot receiver, and waiting his turn. And then when he got his turn, like I said earlier, I mean, he maximized it and made people around him better.
How much of an advantage is it to get an early commitment from the quarterback, not only in terms of getting to know the other recruits, helping you recruit, but knowing you guys and knowing your program, so when he comes here and spring practice rolls in, he's comfortable with what's going on?
Sure. I mean, I think just the early, you're asking about early enrollment, right?
Well, both.
Okay.
Yeah, getting him to commit early and then having
Yep.
your
So, I mean, one, the relationship building side of it. I mean, he gets to be around those other guys and get a sense of what they're about. And I think with quarterback, I mean, it's a good gauge, it's a good temperature of what your program is. And I mean, he's an outstanding face to have for that class. I mean, just you guys have seen it, the quotes that he's put out there about us. And I give a lot of credit to him because he committed to us at a time where a lot of people didn't see the vision. And he stuck with it and believed in what our process was going to be. And I mean, pretty excited to have him. But then the other piece of it too, I mean, him getting into school early, throw football aside, we can all remember being 17, 18, 19 years old, stepping on a college campus for the first time. I think it's huge for those guys to get in early and just get adapted to life on their own, waking up on your own schedule, building a routine, and then the football side of it, I mean, that becomes the easy part of it.
Obviously, the physical tools stand out when you watch his film. He's got the size, got the arm, got the athletic ability, can make plays with his feet. But what did you guys learn about him as a person and leader through this recruiting process where he's been very vocal, trying to lead this class? And obviously, then Georgia comes in, that's what everybody thinks by the tweet, and he's very committed. Just what did you learn about him as a person as far as leadership ability?
I mean, I couldn't think of a better ambassador for the things that we stand for and the things that we believe in. He is a relationship-driven individual. I mean, we saw him out with other prospects that live quite a ways away from him, making stops and seeing guys and celebrating their commitments with them. And I think just the care that he has for other people, not just us as coaches or the university or the program, and honoring his pledge to us, but just his future teammates, guys that he's met along this process. I mean, he's truly a relationship-driven individual, and I mean, that's what this is about. It's about people.
Do you think that the way he has handled himself through his recruitment, do you think that brings credibility for him when he steps on campus with some of his older teammates?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he's still going to be a young pup, and he's going to come in and he's going to do it. But he's got some of that it factor to him, the way he carries himself, some of that swagger, if you will. So it'll be fun to see him get in the mix.
You mentioned the arm